Shakur Stevenson is easily one of the most talented boxers in the sport. His fundamentals are tremendous. He is very highly skilled. He has very good intelligence, good speed. His power is on and off, but he has shown moments of having good power, good accuracy, and most of all, tremendous defense and footwork. He's a fighter who has potential to rise very high in the pound-for-pound ranks, and dare I say, even at one point, become the best fighter in the entire sport. However, as skilled as he is, as good as he is, as marketable as he is a good speaker and is willing to call out the best names in the sport, Shakur Stevenson has one major problem holding him back. Shakur Stevenson is simply not fan-friendly. He is not a fun fighter to watch. And unfortunately for Shakur, as good as he is and as dominant as he is, him not being fan-friendly will 100% have an effect on his career, have an effect on his earnings, and have an effect on the fights that get made for him. We've seen many great fighters in the sport who have ended up making a lot of money in their careers that aren't the most entertaining. Obviously, the most prominent one is Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was not the most entertaining fighter. I believe he got way more hate than he deserved when it came to how entertaining his fights were. However, it doesn't change the fact that his fights were not super fan-friendly. Yes, he's had some really good ones. The Miguel Cotto fight, the Marcos Maidana fight, the Oscar De La Hoya fight, etc. He's had good fights, but his style is not entertaining, and Shakur Stevenson has a relatively similar style and idea to Floyd Mayweather. However, the difference between Shakur Stevenson and Floyd Mayweather, and why Floyd Mayweather was able to make so much money, and why I don't think Shakur Stevenson will be able to generate that type of money, even though he is an extremely skilled fighter, is Floyd Mayweather was the pioneer. He was the first fighter who truly made his money and truly made a name for himself on people disliking him. He was the first fighter in boxing where anytime someone would buy his fights, the vast majority of people would be rooting against him. The vast majority of people that would buy his fights would buy it in hope that Floyd Mayweather would lose. Because Floyd Mayweather was the first and the original to do that, it's going to be much tougher for Shakur Stevenson to properly emulate that the way that Floyd Mayweather does. I think there's a very good chance that Shakur Stevenson's career, if he doesn't pick it up, could end up turning into a Guillermo Rigondeaux situation. Guillermo Rigondeaux, an extremely skilled fighter in his prime, dominated Nonito Donaire, was on the pound-for-pound list at one point. Not very entertaining to watch, and because of this, him being very high risk and low reward, and not that beating Rigo wouldn't give you a lot of credit, but it wasn't worth the risk, objectively. Him being so high risk and so low reward ended up blackballing him from getting the big fights and from even fighting often. There's a good chance with Shakur Stevenson, who I believe is actually more skilled than Guillermo Rigondeaux, and to be fair, more marketable than Guillermo Rigondeaux as well. There is a chance that him being so high risk, while also not being fan-friendly and not being super marketable, will get himself blackballed from the top competition. When you have guys like Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia, when you have all those guys in around the same weight range from 135 to 140, why would they pick Shakur Stevenson, who's arguably the most talented of the five and arguably the best of the five, while also being the least entertaining to watch and likely the least marketable to watch? If you look at it objectively, I would favor Shakur Stevenson as a fighter even after his last performance. I would still likely favor him over Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis. I would likely favor him over those guys. But why would Gervonta Davis, who's a pay-per-view fighter, who makes tons of money, why would he choose to fight Shakur Stevenson over fighting someone who's lower risk and higher reward, specifically when it comes to compensation financially? Why would he choose to fight Shakur Stevenson over Devin Haney, who has all the belts at 135? Yes, he moved up to 140. He's going to become a champion at 140 very soon. Why would he pick Shakur Stevenson over Devin Haney, where he'd make more money to fight Devin Haney and would likely have a better chance of winning? Why would Devin Haney choose to fight Shakur Stevenson, who's very awkward and would end up having a very dull fight? Why would he choose Shakur Stevenson over Gervonta Davis, who he would make way more money against and would get a much likely higher chance of winning that fight? The same applies for Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia. You look at these guys, they're not as high risk as Shakur. They're not as difficult to beat. They're not as tricky, yet they're all much more entertaining, and they are all going to make much more money. Another factor off of his entertainment value is the promotion of Top Rank. They know that if Shakur Stevenson continues having these type of performances, no one's going to want to watch Shakur Stevenson fight. No one's going to want to see these fights. He's had a few snooze fests now as of late. He's had some good fights. He's had some good performances. And I noticed with Shakur Stevenson, he'll have a weak performance like this and he'll come back stronger. So I will say this, I do feel bad for whoever takes on Shakur Stevenson next. I'm not going to pretend that that's going to be an easy fight for that opponent. But it does not change the fact that Shakur Stevenson had a terrible fight against Jeremiah Nakafila a few years back. He came back strong, dominated Jamel Herring, beat Oscar Valdez, beat Robson Consacayo. He had a nice little run, and now he's had another very boring outing in his last fight against Edmundo Los Santos. Shakur Stevenson's a very inconsistent guy when it comes to how entertaining he is and how flashy his performances are. And I know that Bob Arum and Top Rank, they're aware of this, and the fans are very aware of this. The fans were not happy for what they saw, especially with the fight being on a Thursday night and many people having to go into work or school the next day, getting less sleep, being tired, sacrificing a night of sleep to watch this guy fight, and they end up leaving very unimpressed, or thankfully for some people, in my case specifically, getting put to sleep better and getting a deeper night of sleep and getting a more high quality level of sleep due to Shakur Stevenson's boring performance. I mean, I'll tell you this, I was knocked out by round 4 of that fight. I was exhausted and I passed out thanks to Shakur Stevenson. Probably a better night of sleep than I would have gotten if I didn't watch the Shakur Stevenson fight. So when you look at all those factors, Shakur Stevenson has a very big problem, and he's facing a problem that many high-level skilled fighters have faced. Erislandy Lara literally had to change his fight style because of this problem. And I actually give Lara a lot of credit, and that's why I truly respect Erislandy Lara more than I respect Guillermo Rigondeaux, more than I respect a lot of these fighters in this situation. Because even though Lara sacrificed some wins in his career and took some more punishment than necessary, he knew that if he changed his fight style, he'd be able to get these big fights. And you look at the Jarrett Hurd fight, that fight ended up winning Fight of the Year. Because Erislandy Lara, he banged up Jarrett Hurd, and that was not the right or smart decision. He ended up losing a very close decision in that fight. And I'll tell you this right now, if Lara fought his regular fight, he would have outclassed Jarrett Hurd easily. But he knew that the only way he'd keep getting these type of fights is if he came to fight and came to win and ended up taking some to land some. Shakur Stevenson is a very good fighter in the pocket. He has a lot of power when he really applies himself. He's a very good fighter overall. And even though I would say he's a better fighter when he has a more boring style and fights on the outside and picks his shots and throws very few punches and ends up winning a boring decision, I think in the long run, health-wise it will help him, but financially, and when it comes to his legacy and him getting the big fights, it's going to cost him. And Shakur Stevenson has to fix that problem. That problem will very well affect his career directly. Not everyone is Floyd Mayweather. Not everyone's a marketing genius. Not everyone is generating millions upon millions of dollars so they can get away with having a less entertaining style of fighting. Shakur Stevenson will likely have to make some form of change to continue getting big fights in his career, because I'll tell you right now, Devin Haney even made a tweet saying, I should have offered this guy 10%. Now, obviously, him offering Shakur Stevenson 10% would be criminal, but the point is this fight lowered Shakur Stevenson's stock, and it's made other fighters, other big names, I should say, want to fight him much less. Yes, the lower tier fighters are going to want to fight Shakur now because they see there's more chinks in his armor. They see he's not a dangerous guy. He's not going to hurt them or anything. But the top guys like Tank, the top guys like Devin, why would they want to take on Shakur Stevenson when it's high risk, low reward, and not many people, or not as many people, I should say, would buy it knowing that it's going to be a bit of a snooze fest. Thank you guys for watching. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section. What do you want to see next for Shakur Stevenson? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I think his fight style is very effective in getting victories, but when it comes to marketability, when it comes to making money, because this is a profession, guys. This isn't just a hobby for these fighters. They do this to make money and to make a living. When it comes to financially securing your future, you may have to take some risks, and that includes changing the way you fight. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. God bless. I'll see you guys later. Peace.